Hello again guys, welcome back to the channel. Today, we will be looking at the amazing world of ants and discussing some uncommon and recent discoveries. As a bonus, if you stay until end, I'll share how ants even share memories. Okay, here we go. Let's start with ant supercolonies. Some ant species form supercolonies spanning hundreds of miles. A Linepothema humal supercolony in Europe stretches over 3,700 miles. Many supercolonies arise from invasive ant species that spread rapidly in non-native environments with few predators or competitors. Members of supercolonies often have low genetic diversity, reducing aggression between individuals and promoting cooperation. Human activity, such as transporting soil and plants, has inadvertently spread some ant species to new regions, facilitating supercolony formation. Ants use medicinal substances. Ants have been observed using tree resin with antimicrobial properties to protect their colonies from infections. Ants often incorporate substances like resin from plants or tree sap into their nests. These materials have antimicrobial properties that help prevent the growth of bacteria and fungi within the colony. Would ants use tree resins in their nests, reducing harmful pathogens? Some ants consume substances that have medicinal effects when infected by pathogens. Example, when infected with harmful fungi, ants have been observed ingesting small amounts of toxic substances to combat the infection. Ants groom each other frequently to remove harmful spores or parasites. This behavior not only protects individuals, but also the colony as a whole. Grooming often involves the use of antimicrobial secretions from their metaperal glands. Certain ant species raise the temperature of their nests to inhibit pathogen growth. This can happen by clustering together to generate heat or moving to warmer parts of their environment. Some infected ants self-isolate or leave the colony to prevent spreading diseases. This is an altruistic behavior that protects the colony. Fungus farming ants. Leafcutter ants cultivate fungus as their primary food source. Recent studies show that these fungi have evolved alongside the ants, forming a mutualistic relationship over millions of years. Ant brains are dense. Ants have around 250,000 neurons in their tiny brains, allowing them to process complex tasks, including navigation and social organization. Ant brains are fascinating and highly specialized for their social lifestyle, despite their small size and simplicity compared to vertebrate brains. Ant brains are incredibly small, often less than a millimeter across, but densely packed with neurons. An ant's brain may contain around 250,000 neurons, compared to roughly 86 billion in a human brain. Their brains have regions dedicated to sensory processing, such as olfactory lobes for detecting pheromones and optic lobes for visual information. Ants rely heavily on chemical communication through pheromones, and their brains are highly adapted to detect and process these signals. Some ants, such as desert ants, have excellent navigational abilities. They can use celestial cues, polarized light, and memory to find their way back to the nest. Individual ants have limited cognitive capabilities, but their colony operates as a superorganism. Ants work collectively to solve problems like foraging, nest building, and defense. Ants make decisions based on simple rules and stimuli, often relying on environmental cues and feedback from other ants. Ants can learn and remember specific routes, landmarks, or food sources. Some species exhibit rudimentary forms of social learning, such as tandem running, where one ant leads another to a resource. Ants have specialized gut microbiomes. Each species of ant has a unique gut microbiome that aids in digestion and may play a role in protecting against disease. Ants use tools. Certain ants, like black imported fire ants, use sand grains and debris as tools to collect liquid food without drowning. Suicidal defense mechanisms. Some ants explode themselves to release toxic glue, sacrificing themselves to protect the colony. Ants communicate using chemicals. Ants use pheromones to leave trails and communicate warnings or directions. New research shows some species can fine-tune these signals based on urgency. Ants can farm aphids, Ants farm aphids for their sugary secretions, protecting them from predators in exchange for honeydew. Magnetic sense. Some ant species are sensitive to the Earth's magnetic fields, using them to navigate underground tunnels. Ants exhibit division of labor. Recent studies show that older ants are more likely to perform risky tasks, like foraging, while younger ants focus on protecting the queen and brood. Zombie ant fungus control. The infamous zombie ant fungus Ophiocordyceps doesn't control the ant's brain, but its muscles, hijacking movement to ensure optimal spore dispersal. Ants can detect earthquakes. Ants' ability to sense changes in the environment includes detecting subtle shifts in seismic activity. They practice social immunity. When one ant is infected, the colony engages in grooming behaviors and quarantining to prevent disease spread. Ant raft building. Fire ants form living rafts during floods, linking their bodies to float on water for days, protecting the queen and larvae in the center. Ants can form living bridges. Army ants build temporary bridges with their bodies to cross gaps, optimizing traffic flow for the colony. Ants can survive in space. Ants have been sent to the International Space Station to study their problem-solving and adaptability in microgravity. Ants repair their nests. Some species of ants repair damage to their nests using materials around them, showing remarkable engineering skills. Genetic diversity enhances survival. Recent research suggests colonies with genetically diverse queens are more robust against environmental stressors. Ants share memories. Studies reveal that ants use tandem running, where one ant follows another closely to teach routes, effectively sharing navigation knowledge. Tandem running is a fascinating behavior, used by ants to share information and teach each other, especially when foraging for food or exploring new environments. In tandem running, one ant the leader guides another ant the follower to a specific location, usually a food source or a new nest site. This process allows the follower to learn the route and the surrounding environment from the leader. Here's how it works. When a foraging ant finds a food source, it will typically return to the nest to recruit other ants. If the follower ant doesn't know the route, the leader will guide it. The leader begins by moving ahead at a steady pace, while the follower trails behind. The leader constantly looks back to ensure that the follower is keeping up and stays on the correct path. The leader will also adjust its pace or stop to allow the follower to catch up or reorient if they go off track. The leader is essentially teaching the follower by showing it the path step by step. The follower mimics the leader's movements and learns the path by observing the leader's actions. The follower often stays close to the leader and follows its every move. In some cases, the follower may even tap the leader's antennae for additional guidance, reinforcing the learning process. The follower ant learns the route by being shown the way, rather than having to discover it independently. This is a form of social learning, where information is passed directly from one individual to another. The follower ant has to remember the path and its landmarks. Once the follower has completed the route once or twice, it can navigate on its own without needing to follow the leader. Tandem running is an efficient way for ants to transfer knowledge. Instead of each ant learning the path by trial and error, they can share their discoveries and quickly expand the foraging network. This method is particularly useful in environments that are complex or require detailed knowledge, such as finding food in a large area or navigating a new environment. Tandem running is one of the rare examples of teaching in the animal kingdom. The follower is not just learning by observation, but is being actively guided by the leader. This is different from simple following or mimicry, where the follower may not understand or remember the process. In fact, ants can teach other ants who are inexperienced or unfamiliar with a route, demonstrating a form of social transmission of knowledge, not just individual learning. Tandem running is a wonderful example of how ants, despite their small brains, can engage in complex social behaviors and exhibit a form of teaching that benefits the entire colony. Ants are truly extraordinary creatures with complex behaviors that continue to amaze researchers. Which fact caught your attention the most? Thank you again for watching, and please like and subscribe for more awesome videos.